Hello, everybody. Welcome to Poverty Hill Adventures. Today's video is going to be a little bit about some reflections I have from a lifetime of hunting turkeys. I started out hunting turkeys, I tell everybody, back when there weren't turkeys to hunt, and that wasn't far from the truth. The wildlife agencies and the National Wild Turkey Federation was still in the process of reestablishing the wild turkey, and where I live, we're fortunate enough to have a season to hunt wild turkeys, although there was not many to hunt back then, and you really had to work at it, especially if you were just starting out and knew nothing about hunting turkeys, which was the norm. Most guys back then did not know much about hunting turkeys. It took me a couple of seasons before I was successful. Here is the fan and the beard from the very first turkey that I harvested. I can still remember it, all the details of getting this bird and how excited I was when I finally got my first wild turkey. Like I said, there was nowhere near the information and the knowledge back then on hunting wild turkeys, and there was no internet. There was no internet. There were no hunting shows on TV that hunted wild turkeys, at least. And the information was very scarce. How I learned was by trial and error. I also was fortunate enough to live in an area where a famous turkey hunting pioneer lived, and he had a little company there, and he made an instructional cassette tape, which I still have someplace. I don't have a cassette player to play it anymore, but I have the tape, and I would put that cassette tape in the truck, and I'd play it over and over and over again, and try to learn how to sound like a turkey, how to call in turkeys, and then I went to a turkey hunting seminar with this same fella, and he kind of instructed everybody in the audience on what he had learned about hunting turkeys, and it was a lot. It was a lot of fun. Looking back, it was pretty basic knowledge, but at the time, guys didn't know much about hunting turkeys. The one thing that most everybody knew about hunting turkeys was you needed to be camouflaged, and the turkeys had phenomenal eyesight, and the choices for camo back then were pretty slim. We had this old pattern here, military style, and then eventually I graduated to a patterns like this and this, which now seem pretty crude, but at the time this stuff was high tech. And then I think the next step was I believe this was called tree bark, and this here was guaranteed to make you disappear into the forest. From there, they started getting into kind of like the modern camo now. I don't know who made this one. Might have been one of the big names. It's faded now, but this was a big step up. It helps before you go out and turkey hunt to locate some turkeys. And there's some calls that you can use to locate birds to get them to what they call shock gobble and reveal their location, and then you can set up on them and use turkey calls to call in a gobbler. And some of the ones that I carry is an owl hooter. And here's another one here. Another call that I use and have good success with is a pelleted woodpecker call. A lot of times that'll get gobbler to shock gobble back. Crow call. And believe it or not, a whistle. And I'll give you a story about shock gobbles and turkeys revealing where they're at. I was hunting with a fella down in Binghamton, New York, and this guy was a really good turkey hunter, and he used a English police siren, believe it or not, to locate birds. And if I'm lying, I'm flying. It worked. Let me tell you. I was skeptical at first, but he would let out that siren, that English siren, and them birds would, gobblers would answer back. So I got started using this whistle here. And it works. It works. You'll get the turkeys to gobble back often. My favorite part of hunting turkeys is calling them. I love calling them, love hearing them answer back, and it's very, very exciting calling turkeys. The first turkey call that I ever bought, the first call that I ever used is this Lynch Foolproof. It's an older call, and let me read the side of it here for you. Lynch's Foolproof Turkey Call. It's foolproof. It's set for the yelp, cluck, putt, whines, and cackle. It is semi-automatic. Read the simple instructions. And this was the first call I ever bought, and the reason I bought it was it was labeled foolproof, and I figured for a guy just starting out turkey hunting, a foolproof call would be a good one. There wasn't a whole lot of calls to choose from back then. In fact, the sporting goods store had a section of a shelf about this big with a few calls on it, and this was one of them. Now, I killed quite a few birds with this over several decades, and then something changed with the tone of the wood, as you can hear. I don't know if I actually wore the lid out or whatever, so I wasn't quite happy with the call, but I got several decades out of it and killed a lot of birds. So I replaced it, and this is the call that I replaced it with. And as you can guess, it's another Lynch Foolproof. So and I like the sound of that. That's how this call sounded. This call sounded way back when. So those are the calls I started with. Then I acquired one of these push button calls, and they're great. They're a real simple call. This one happens to be an older one, a easy squeeze-o-matic turkey call, Smith's game calls. And I killed a few birds with that one also. Then somehow or the other, I got a couple more of them over the years. Acquired them. And I started acquiring some custom calls. These two were my first two custom calls that I won at a Wild Turkey Federation banquet. This one's got some beautiful inlay work on the lid. I have other custom calls that I've acquired over the years. This one here is a one from a fella down in Alabama. It's got some real nice wood burning on the lid there. And here's another kind of neat little call, custom call that I acquired. This one was from a fella in Georgia. And then I have this great big call here, the ruler. And so another kind of unique call. I've got some calls from Buffalo Hunter calls. This one here is some wormy chestnut, some very old barn boards. And here's a custom one, just beautiful call. It sounds as good as it looks. While we're talking about custom calls, I got a couple of slate calls here from Buffalo Hunter calls also. Got some custom strikers on them. Very cool, very cool. Got some other slate calls. This one is a lynch. And over the years, I acquired some other ones. This is a custom call from a fella down south there. Nice call. It's got some holes in the back there to let the sound out. Then, well, there's another little slate call that I couldn't resist. So then I got on the kick of making my own calls, and I started making some of these wingbone calls here. I got several of them, so, and they work pretty good. And they're kind of cool, a historic call. I had a fella gift me a plastic version of a wingbone call, and it's kind of neat. Got a nice sound to it. And similar to the other wingbone calls, only this one's not made out of wing bones. This one is made out of river cane, and this was made by Eric Pritchard. So there's some other types of calls. I got a couple of unique ones, like this one here. This is a Durell call. My wife, this is my wife's call, and she's good at it. I don't use it much, so Well, it sounds a lot better when she uses it. So, um, here's another call called a sweet talker, and then I got a couple of calls here that I never could get the hang out of using. I'm sure they're quite effective. This little scratch box here, made out of cedar. And then I'm not exactly sure what you would call this one here. It's kind of like a slate call, but it's made of wood. And I'm sure in the hands of the right guy, it's deadly. But I was never able to master that call. So over the years, I've accumulated, as you can see, a few different calls, and it's not a collection; it's an accumulation, and got all these different calls, and the one I rely on is back to that foolproof that I started with. I just love this call. And I have a lot of confidence in this call. I use it all the time. Another call that I take with me every time I go turkey hunting, and I take this call for sentimental reasons, is this Lynch Longbeard here. This belonged to a good friend of mine who's passed on, and on the bottom of the box I have written, "In memory of Tom Quinn." Tommy had the nickname the Boss Gobbler. I've got it scribed that way, and every time I go out, I at least make a few calls with Tommy's call here. So there you have it. There's an assortment of calls that I've kind of acquired over the years. There's probably other ones that I got laying around someplace or the other. So I've got to get my turkey vest all ready for the season. So put what I need in it. So until next time, everybody. Until next time, thanks for watching. Take care, and remember to keep on trucking.